All right, Bruce here with Targeted Wealth Creation. Happy 4th to everybody. Excuse me a second. All right, I've got a CONY MSTY combo to do, so let's jump in here to CONY first. So a little note, you probably saw my NAV reduction video, hedging. Everybody fears NAV reduction, so I try to put that to bed by talking about stock selection, how to hedge, etc. So anyway, let's jump into CONY. So CONY rolled out of a couple of its positions. They didn't buy any additional or sell any additional calls, but they did increase their share count about 375,000. So let's talk about what they did. They basically rolled out of this 260 at quite a loss, right? It was a net 47 right here. It should be this number 47,810. And why was that? Well, they had gotten out of 15,000, but they had a remaining 13,009. And with 2 weeks to go, I wasn't really sure if they were going to roll these, but they went ahead and rolled them early. So that cost them 47,000. You can see here in the number, 47,810. So to start the month with a big loss like that, we were only down 3 points. So let's take a look on the July. I had to update the tabs, right? So we were down from 227 to 224, so down 1.13. So CONY, because we're looking good on the weeklies, was only down 0.5%. So anyway, the big trades were they rolled out of these 260s, so they took a big hit in 47 million there, and they rolled into their newer 230. So they made a little money on that. Overall they went from having a $3.6 million loss the day before, and they had about a gain here where it ended up netting them 4.528. So that's now the July profit. I should put that. Sorry about that. That needs to be put into July equals F6. Even though I was picking it up in July, I just didn't put it in the July. So this is a 230 strike, so they're much closer to that strike. So we'll get to payments at the end, but let's finish up on July. Oh, so the big thing here in my NAV reduction video, and I mentioned it in a couple of other videos about making money and, do these things all have NAV erosion, et cetera, et cetera. So CONY kind of represents the first fund to reach the anniversary date where they've returned all of their capital. They'll actually do it a month early, assuming I first used 20 even, right? Because most of the funds open at $20. But back in time, for instance, CONY opened at 2031 and closed in 1976. So clearly, you could have bought it for 20 or under, but if you bid right at the open, you would have been paying 2031. So I went ahead and used 1976, and I said, at first, I said we need $1.48 because they paid period to date, right? With this recent payment, they reached $18.52. So 148 next month at the 11th monthly payment, they would have returned all of your capital. So you're writing for free. Everything you get now is like you didn't have to buy the stock. Um, And if you want to use the 1976 number, then we only need $1.24, which is pretty reasonable for CONY. They're averaging, I think, $1.85 when I looked at the stats. So that's the situation there. How do our weeklies look? Well, by going down, whoops, I need to use July's number here. And I need 57. There we go. We're down to 224.94. So you can see our 230 and our 232 with one trading day. You know, anything can happen. They're close, but they look pretty good overall. Especially BTC is trending down. I've said in several of my videos, um, I see 56 being hit at the, I believe that's the 50-day moving average, and 50 to 52 is major support. So I suspect if we get there, that'll likely be the bottom. We may not go further than 56, but I was looking in the after hours because BTC trades around the clock. So maybe 30 minutes ago on the 4th, in the morning, they were at 57. So it's kind of indicative. I knew when they went back below 60 again that they weren't done. I was pretty sure even on the bounce back up to 63, it just didn't feel like it had the legs to run back. So this is probably the flush out it needs to get going again. So anyway, let's finish on what we have on that. So on the weeklies, it looks good. Let's go to holdings. I'm going to go faster on these. So they added 50,000 shares from Tuesday to Wednesday. The synthetic is showing a 9 million. Hang on, did I update this one? Yeah. So that's showing a $9 million loss. And the reason is because, guys, they closed that out, right? I'm comparing apples and oranges here. So as this collects, remember they took that big loss? So that's why we're showing a 9 million loss on the new one. But that's very, we have a long way to go. I think the date on that is August 16th. That is something I need to update. Yeah, that's there, 8/16. 43 days to expiration, and a much more reasonable at the 230 situation. So what else on holdings? Okay, you see the disparity here because the spread reflects the ex-dividend drop, right? Which is 153. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I can pull up one of my sheets. It's not that important. Oh, here we go. CONY 153 is what I remember. 157.3 for July, and 1852, the number that I told you. Okay, so that's looking, decent. Sometimes you just need to get the baggage out of the way, roll. They were close enough, and just get going. Bitcoin needs to bottom and start back up. So when you subtract from 2082, you get pretty close. So that's why these numbers are reflected that way. Let's take a look at payments because that's really the only thing that's left. So the ugly part of this is we start. What did I do here to my June number? I'll have to fix that, but don't worry about it. The July number is accurate. So anyway, we have a 43 million loss, right, to start the month. Um, and that represents $1.33. So they really, we haven't written any calls. The calls here, if we win those, I can move the money over here because technically, well, I'll have to see what I've done in the past on that. Sometimes I usually use the third as the cutoff, but I'll have to see. It looks like they're going to win that, and I think the number that they collected on holdings was, it's pretty good. It's about 8.6, right? So we're setting at 57, 20% of it captured. The only one really is the 230 number, since it's only about 5.5 points. And we were paid 8.3 million, and we'd have to buy it back at 3.6. But I suspect that will quickly dissipate on Friday. Yeah, matter of fact, based on the 57, it's sort of a done deal unless Bitcoin reverses before tomorrow morning, which I don't see that happening. Okay, what else on the payment side? That's really kind of it, guys. So other than, CONY's going to be celebrating a good period, and being the first fund at a year anniversary to return all their money. Now, MSTY's in a much better shape to get there in 7 or 8 months, but that's beside the fact, right? Um, because there's been other funds, and NVIDIA didn't do it when it got to its 12-month mark. So anyway, we shall see. All right, let's jump into MSTY. And here we are in MSTY. What did it do? Well, the last couple of days, it's down 3.35 and down 1.37 at Mr. We were down 3.05 and 1.19. Now, in Misty's case, these calls that were written were way up there, and Mr. has been dropping a lot. Look at this, from 1525, 1377, 65, 20, 1302. So we're we're in a situation where if we look at holding, we've already captured 99.02. So if they wanted to, at open, they could just buy these back. But I prefer they wait, because the waiting part allows them to reflect the price that it closes. So if Bitcoin's going down, you want it as low as possible when you write your next weekly call. If you write it at, 1290 and ends up closing at 1180 on MSTR, then you're already, down from where you could get more premium for where you write if you let it play out closer to the day. Um, so I kind of like that scenario better. I mean, there's a tiny bit of risk, but they'd have to go up so much that it's incredible. What is the weekly showing? Yeah, look at this. 12, 15, 18, right? The bulk are at 15. That's the one that really matters. And it's almost 16. It's over 15 and a half. And yeah, you would have to have crypto running at its height, and already with the pre-market and all the rest, I expect this thing to be down in the low 12s, maybe 1100. We could end up coming near this line, sort of a retest of the breakout, but probably somewhere in the 1100 here before this finishes up. Maybe 1000 if we get down to 52 or 50. Um, so again, keep your dry powder. This is a good buy with these kind of situations. I don't know what it translates into MSTY, but I can tell you I'll be trying to sell some puts that would get me purchasing, MSTY for, 17, 16, something like that. Try and sell a 20 or a 22 put for $5 or $6. Actually, I think I put one on already, um, but I probably should put a little bit more. Yeah, I think I'm trying to get $6 on a 20 put, and I think they were offering 390 by going out to February of 2025. So I got to go look at that again. So, again, if you don't have options capability and you're not comfortable, then just hang a GTC order out there, at a low ball price, and maybe stagger some buys or something. All right. So what else? Let's see, in the July tab, they had shares purchased. They didn't put any trades on. So they went up an additional 375, and they had gone up 500 on the day before. So again, this is, sale buying, right? you want something on sale, you go buy it. It's just, what I'm seeing on the charts, it's going to get even cheaper. Um, I'm not worried about it just going down and not, returning to its glory because I'm bullish, but I understand that, it can go down further and likely will. It's always kind of hard to correlate the exact MSTY price. It's easier for me to look at BTC and know what I'm going to get and know what that's going to do to MSTR. It's a little bit harder on MSTY, because they're making a little bit as we're going down on the calls, but we're not. Um, Immune to the downdraft. We're going to participate right along with it. We're just going to collect a little income on the way. All right. So weekly, I showed you those, how far out they are. No activity on the synthetic. So let's jump into holdings on this. Or into payouts. But I did want to just tell you these, even though I said it. So 99.24, 99.12, 97.53, right? With this guy being the big guy. So, you can save a little bit of money for waiting into the day, at least the first 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 days, first 2 or 3 hours of trading, so that 9:30, wait till noon, 1 o'clock, something like that. All right, let's jump into payouts. Well, didn't want to keep you too long. We don't have anything because they didn't put on any new sales. And, excuse me, just had swallowed wrong. So what we have is nothing, guys. And as I was telling you with that, I won't get into when they're going to capture all their money back, but I thought CONY was pretty exciting because it's coming up. The next payday should take care of that in August. And their very first payment was September in 2023. Okay, so we're really just kind of waiting on MSTY. I'm kind of waiting on the BTC brethren, YBIT, CONY, and MSTY to get going, and we'll see what we have. Okay, guys, have a great fourth. Geez, I was almost going to say a great weekend, but we got that weird day of full market back on Friday. Okay, enjoy your holiday. Talk to you. This is Bruce. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Bye for now.